everything we've done since day one back in 2011 has been a long-term approach, trying to do things the right way, not always the easy way. We never cut corners, but we feel like we're putting all the ingredients in place to have a really good program that can stand the test of time. And when you graduate some great players like we did off last year's team, that gets put to the test. But I'm really excited about the group we have coming back. They have worked extremely hard this offseason. We've redshirted a lot of players the last 3 years that are getting bigger, faster, and stronger. And these guys are excited to get out there and make their own mark for Ball State. Our perception across the nation is excellent. And a lot of that goes back to some of the big out-of-conference wins that our teams have had. When you go down to Virginia and beat an ACC team, people notice. When Northern Illinois goes in and beats a Purdue or beats an Iowa, people notice. And that's what's happened in our league over the last few years. And now with some additional bowls coming online, Mid-American Conference teams are going to have a great opportunity to continue to get some excellent national exposure. Well, we'll have some great matchups against some excellent programs from conferences like the Sun Belt, and they're in great locations. Our fan bases love to travel to those types of areas in December. Some of the games, like the one in Montgomery, will be an easy drive for fans from Indiana or Ohio or Michigan to drive down Interstate 65 and get to that game. So the combination of location and matchups and getting a chance to see their teams in the postseason makes it awfully exciting. Well, it's awfully nice when you recruit a young man to Ball State and he knows that if our team can win 7, 8, 9 games, you are going to be in contention to go to the postseason and get a great bowl experience out of it. And fortunately, our team's been able to do that the last 2 years, and now you have even more opportunities for your team to get those postseason chances. Well, we are all tied together. All the major conferences, the 10 FBS conferences, are all a part of this college football playoff for the next 12 years. So it's awfully exciting to know that if you end up being one of the top teams in the non-group of 5 or whatever you want to call it now, you're still going to have an opportunity to go and play in a major bowl game. It's going to be an interesting year in our league because so many prominent guys have moved on and many of them were quarterbacks. So a lot of these programs, just like ours, are going to be put to the test to see not only who steps into those shoes, but how do the rest of the guys that surround that quarterback step up, and how do those offenses change? You may see us run the ball a little bit more this year than we have in the past, more like we did in 2011 or 2012 before Keith Wenning really came into his own as a quarterback. And that's all part of the coaching, that's all part of the programs, that's all part of the evolution of these teams. Well, the bottom line is we all want to find a way to be successful. And each year your team evolves, it's different, your conference evolves. There were games in this league 3, 4 years ago that were 60-point games, and that's part of the excitement of MACtion, right? You may see some games this year that are a little bit lower scoring, but I anticipate a bunch of close games just like we've seen in all 3 years that I've been in the league. Well, it's an anything, anytime, anywhere brand of football. We don't care where we're playing, whether it's going out to Iowa in front of 70,000 people or playing on a Tuesday or Wednesday night in November when it's cold and maybe the weather isn't great. This is a chance for national exposure for our league. We play an exciting brand of football. There's great parity in our league. Every game matters and every athlete matters. Yeah, the reason I have a job is because of our 105 players. That's why I'm there, and I never forget that. It's the first thing I think about when I get up in the morning. It's the last thing I think about when I go to bed at night. And everything we do is to try to make it a great, great experience for them so that after they graduate and after football's over, they're still connected. They still feel a part of the Ball State football family. They want to give back for the next 50 years because it was so special for them while they were there. So how do we do it? Well, first of all, you got to support them academically, and you got to make sure that you're maximizing their potential in the classroom. And our players know that I'm going to be very involved in their life from an academic standpoint. We've got an awesome summer internship program where a lot of our best and brightest kids are working in local businesses in Muncie, and that's given them great job experience It's connecting them with our community. It's making people feel closer to our program, and it's been a great bridge between the university as a whole and the Muncie community. You could argue that the big games we've played on ESPN during the middle of the week have been the biggest exposure for Ball State University as a whole, more so than perhaps anything else we've done over the last couple of years. 2 years ago, when we beat Toledo on election night, millions of people watched that game. They were turning back and forth from the election, and they were watching the Cardinals against the Rockets in a big, big game. The same thing could be said for our game at Northern Illinois a year ago. So it's exciting to have those opportunities. It's great national exposure for our league. On a personal level, I hear from people after one of those games that I haven't talked to in 20 years because they turned on the TV and they saw us in action, and now they're Cardinal fans and they're following us, and hopefully they're coming to future games. So it's a great, great part of being in the Mid-American Conference.